First contact fallacy. The VSS Thunderbird hung in the darkness of space, a sleek obsidian arrow against the canvas of stars. Captain Maya Chen stood at the command center viewport, her reflection ghosted against the infinite black. Behind her, the bridge crew worked in disciplined silence, each movement precise, each command delivered in hushed tones. "Status report," Chen said, her voice calm despite the gravity of their situation. Lieutenant Commander Abram Jackson looked up from his tactical display. "Vecthar fleet maintaining position at 500,000 kilometers, Captain. All 37 vessels in combat formation. Their energy signatures suggest weapons are charged but not actively targeting." Chen nodded. The Thunderbird was humanity's most advanced vessel, but it wasn't built for direct confrontation with an alien armada. Its true purpose remained classified even to most of her crew. "Open communications," she ordered. "Channel established," announced Communications Officer Priya Sharma. "They're responding." The main display shimmered to life, revealing a being that resembled an upright mantis with iridescent exoskeleton and 4 compound eyes arranged in a diamond pattern. Its mandibles clicked rhythmically before translating into English. "I am Supreme Commander Vexur of the Vecthar Hegemony," the alien announced, voice synthesized yet somehow conveying disdain. "You have entered claimed space uninvited. Identify yourselves immediately." Chen stepped forward. "This is Captain Maya Chen of the Earth Alliance vessel Thunderbird. We're on a diplomatic mission to establish peaceful contact with space-faring civilizations. Our sensors detected your fleet's approach to our solar system, and we came to greet you properly." The alien's mandibles twitched in what the translation software suggested was amusement. "Diplomatic mission. With a single vessel. Your species' arrogance is remarkable." "Not arrogance, Commander. Efficiency." One of Vexur's 4 eyes narrowed. "Your vessel appears to be primarily designed for speed rather than combat. Are humans so naive they send unarmed ships to meet unknown forces?" Chen allowed herself a small smile. "We believe first impressions shouldn't begin with weapons. The Thunderbird is our fastest ship, allowing us to reach you before you entered our home system." "A gesture that will prove futile," Vexur responded. "Our scans indicate your civilization occupies a single planet with minimal orbital presence. Your technological development is centuries behind the hegemony. We've conquered 12 systems in this sector alone." "We're aware of your expansion," Chen replied evenly, "which is precisely why we wish to establish diplomatic relations before misunderstandings occurred." The alien commander's carapace shimmered with what Chen's cultural briefing had identified as contempt. "Your diplomatic overture is noted. Now, explain why our long-range scans detected unusual quantum fluctuations from your system." Chen's expression remained carefully neutral. "Earth has been experimenting with various energy technologies, nothing that should concern the hegemony." "Everything concerns the hegemony, especially potential weapons development by primitive species," Vexur clicked. "Your vessel will be boarded and inspected. Afterward, we will proceed to your homeworld to establish proper terms of vassalage. The hegemony requires new resource worlds." Lieutenant Jackson tensed beside Chen. "Captain, they're activating tractor systems." "Commander Vexur," Chen responded, her voice hardening. "The Earth Alliance does not recognize your authority to board our vessel or approach our planet uninvited. We came in peace, but we will defend ourselves if necessary." The alien's mandibles spread wide in what was unmistakably laughter. The bridge crew of the mantis-like being joined in, their clicking sounds filling the communication channel. "Defend? With what? Our scans show minimal weapon systems on your vessel. It appears to be little more than a courier ship with delusions of military capability." Chen straightened her uniform jacket. "Commander, I recommend you reconsider your approach. Humanity may be younger than the Vecthar, but we've learned different lessons from the universe. Your bravado is amusing but irrelevant." Vexur dismissed. "Prepare to be boarded. Any resistance will be met with immediate destruction." The communication ended abruptly. Chen turned to her crew, who awaited her orders with tense anticipation. "They've locked tractor beams on us, Captain," reported Chief Engineer HFY Wilson from his station, attempting to pull us toward their command vessel. "Tactical analysis?" Chen asked Jackson. 37 warships, Captain. Each approximately 3 times our mass, heavily armored and shielded. Energy weapons primarily, with what appear to be graviton torpedoes as secondary armaments. Their shields are specifically calibrated against conventional energy and kinetic weapons. Chen nodded. As expected. She pressed her palm against the biometric reader on her command chair, unlocking the hidden interface. Authorization, Chen Omega-79. Activate Chimera Protocol. Chimera Protocol activated, responded the ship's eye. Warning. Deployment of experimental weapon systems is authorized only under existential threat conditions. Condition confirmed, Chen stated firmly. The Vector hegemony has declared hostile intent against Earth. Deploy countermeasures and prepare the Void Cascade. Throughout the ship, hidden systems hummed to life. The Thunderbird's true purpose was finally being revealed. "Captain," Sharma said, "they're attempting to re-establish communication." "On screen," Chen ordered. Vexor appeared again, mandibles clicking rapidly. "Our sensors detect unusual energy signatures from your vessel. Explain immediately." "You mentioned earlier that you detected quantum fluctuations from our system, Commander," Chen replied calmly. "Those weren't weapons tests. They were calibration exercises for this." She gestured around her. "The Thunderbird isn't primarily a diplomatic vessel. It's a delivery system." For the first time, uncertainty flickered across the alien commander's features. "Delivery system for what?" "Something we call the Void Cascade." Humanity took a different approach to defense technology. Instead of building many weapons, we built the right one. Vexor's compound eyes widened. "All vessels, open fire," he commanded, but the transmission cut before they could witness the response. "They're charging weapons," Jackson reported tensely. Chen nodded. "Deploy the Cascade probe." From an unassuming port on the Thunderbird's ventral hull, a small spherical object no larger than a basketball detached and drifted toward the Vector fleet. It moved slowly, almost casually through space. "Probe away," Wilson confirmed. "Initiating power-down sequence. All hands, brace for Cascade deployment," Chen announced ship-wide. Closing protective shutters. Armored panels slid over every viewport on the Thunderbird as the vessel went into lockdown mode. On external cameras, they watched as the tiny probe reached the center of the Vector formation. The Vector vessels had begun firing, energy beams lancing through space toward the Thunderbird. But they were too late. The probe activated. There was no explosion, no flash of light or radiation. Instead, a perfect sphere of absolute darkness expanded outward from the probe's position. It was as if a portion of the universe simply ceased to exist, stars, space, and light all vanishing within its boundaries. The sphere expanded rapidly, engulfing ship after ship of the Vector fleet. Within seconds, all 37 vessels were consumed by the perfect blackness. Then, as suddenly as it had appeared, the sphere contracted, collapsing back to a singularity before blinking out of existence. Where the mighty Vector Armada had been, there was now only empty space, no debris, no radiation signature, no trace they had ever existed. "Cascade effect complete," reported Wilson, his voice hushed with awe despite having helped develop the technology. "All targets removed from our space-time continuum." Chen stared at the empty starfield on the display. The Thunderbird had just demonstrated why humanity, despite its youth among the stars, would never be subjugated. "Confirm all Vector vessels neutralize," she ordered. "Confirmed, Captain," Jackson replied after a moment. "Space is clear. No residual energy signatures detected." Chen nodded slowly. "Set course for Earth. Maximum speed." She paused, then added, "And prepare a complete mission report for Alliance Command." The Vecthar hegemony will likely send more ships when they lose contact with this fleet. As the Thunderbird turned homeward, Chen reflected on the irony. The aliens had mocked humanity's apparent weakness, never suspecting that the unassuming vessel before them carried technology that fundamentally altered the rules of warfare. It was a lesson the galaxy would soon learn. Judge humanity by its appearance at your own peril. The Silent Storm. 2 weeks after the Thunderbirds encountered with the Vecthar fleet, the Earth Alliance War Council convened in the underground chambers beneath Geneva. Holographic displays showed strategic positions of defense satellites and the handful of combat-capable vessels humanity had managed to construct since achieving FTL capability. Captain Chen stood before the assembled military and civilian leaders, concluding her report. The Void Cascade performed exactly as designed. All 37 Vecthar vessels were removed from normal spacetime. Based on our understanding of their faster-than-light communication limitations, we estimate it will be approximately 3 more weeks before their homeworld realizes the fleet has been lost. Admiral Helena Volkov, Supreme Commander of Earth's Defense Forces, leaned forward. "And what happens then, Captain?" "They'll send more ships," Chen replied simply. "Likely a much larger force." Murmurs rippled through the chamber. Defense Minister Omar Al-Farsi raised a hand for silence. "Do we have enough Cascade devices to repel another attack? Possibly a much larger one." Dr. Eleanor Reeves, lead scientist of Project Chimera, rose from her seat. "The Cascade technology requires rare isotopes and significant energy to produce. We can manufacture perhaps 5 more devices in the time frame we're discussing." However, she paused, choosing her words carefully. "The long-term consequences of multiple deployments remain theoretical. We're literally removing portions of spacetime from our universe. The fabric of reality can only withstand so many such alterations." "Are you suggesting the cure might be worse than the disease, Doctor?" asked President Chimera. "I'm suggesting caution," Reeves replied. "The Cascade was developed as a last resort. Using it repeatedly may have unforeseen consequences." The chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. "There may be another option," Chen said finally. "The Vecthar's aggression was based on their assessment that we were technologically inferior. A single demonstration of the Cascade might be sufficient to force diplomatic reconsideration." Admiral Volkov scoffed. "You're suggesting we try to negotiate with them after destroying their fleet." "I'm suggesting we communicate from a position of strength," Chen countered. "The Vecthar respect power above all else. Now they know we have it." Before the discussion could continue, an aide rushed into the chamber and whispered urgently to the president. Chimera's expression darkened. "It seems our timeline has been miscalculated," she announced. "Long-range sensors have detected a massive Vecthar fleet approaching the Sol system. 83 vessels, heavily armed. They'll reach Earth in less than 36 hours. The council erupted in urgent conversations. President Chimera raised her voice over the din. "Captain Chen, Admiral Volkov, implement our defense strategy immediately. Dr. Reeves, prepare all available Cascade devices for deployment. This council is adjourned." As the chamber emptied, Chen approached Dr. Reeves. "How many functional devices do we actually have?" 3, Reeves admitted quietly. "And deploying all of them simultaneously might create a chain reaction we can't control." Chen's expression remained stoic, but her eyes betrayed her concern. "Then we need to make them count." 28 hours later, the VSS Thunderbird hung in space near Jupiter's orbit, accompanied by Earth's 2 other FTL-capable vessels, the VSS Hermes and VSS Athena. They were humanity's first line of defense, and possibly its last. "Vecthar fleet dropping out of FTL," announced Lieutenant Commander Jackson from his tactical station. 83 vessels confirmed, approaching in attack formation. Chen studied the tactical display. The alien armada was arranged differently this time, spread out rather than clustered, clearly having learned from their previous encounter. "They're hailing us," Sharma reported. "On screen," Chen ordered. The display activated, showing not Commander Vexur, but a larger, more elaborately armored Vecther. Its carapace gleamed with metallic implants and ceremonial markings. "I am Grand Admiral Zexnar of the Vecther Hegemony," the alien announced, mandibles clicking ominously. "You have committed an act of war by destroying our expeditionary fleet. Surrender your world immediately or face extinction." Chen stepped forward. "This is Captain Maya Chen of the Earth Alliance. Your expeditionary fleet threatened our sovereignty and attempted to board our vessel against our will. We responded accordingly. With a weapon that violates the natural laws of the universe," Zexnar hissed. "Such technology cannot be permitted to exist in the hands of a primitive species." "If we're so primitive," Chen countered, "how did we develop something your advanced civilization fears?" The Grand Admiral's compound eyes flashed with anger. "Your species is dangerous precisely because of your desperation. Like cornered prey, you lash out with no regard for consequences. The void technology you've deployed creates instabilities in the fabric of reality itself. It must be surrendered to the hegemony immediately." Chen allowed herself a small smile. "So this is no longer about claiming Earth as a resource world. Now it's about confiscating our defense technology." "Both," Zexnar declared. "Your world will become a protectorate of the hegemony. Your void technology will be surrendered, and your species will be contained. And if we refuse, then we will destroy your vessels and bombard your world until nothing remains but ash." Chen studied the alien commander. "You've spread your fleet thin, Admiral. Learned from the last encounter. But you're forgetting something fundamental about humanity." "And what might that be?" Zexnar asked condescendingly. "We adapt." Chen cut the transmission and turned to her crew. "Initiate Phase 2. Throughout the small fleet, crews sprang into action. On the Thunderbird, Engineer Wilson supervised as the single cascade device they carried was modified according to new specifications. "Modifications complete, Captain," he reported. "The device is ready." "Hermes and Athena report ready as well," added Sharma. Chen nodded. "All ships, execute scatter protocol on my mark. 3, 2, 1. Mark." The 3 human vessels accelerated in different directions, forcing the Vecther fleet to divide their attention. As expected, the majority pursued the Thunderbird, recognizing it from the previous encounter. 27 vessels pursuing us," Jackson reported. "Hermes has 18 on its tail, Athena 22. The remaining 16 are maintaining position as a reserve force." "Perfect," Chen said. "Exactly as predicted. They're being cautious with their primary force, but committing enough ships to each pursuit to ensure destruction." She turned to Wilson. "Deploy the modified cascade." Unlike before, the probe that detached from the Thunderbird moved with startling speed, hurtling not toward the pursuing Vecther vessels, but toward their reserve formation. "Vecther vessels are firing," Jackson announced tensely. "Impacts in 15 seconds. All hands, brace for impact," Chen ordered. "Protective shutters engage." The Thunderbird shuddered as enemy fire struck its shields, but Chen's attention remained fixed on the tactical display, watching the modified probe's trajectory. Cascade activation in 3, 2, 1. At the center of the Vecther reserve formation, the probe detonated, but instead of the expanding sphere of darkness from the previous encounter, this cascade manifested differently. A web of dark tendrils erupted from the detonation point, reaching out like lightning bolts of anti-light. The tendrils connected ship to ship across the entire Vecther fleet, ignoring the vast distances between pursuit groups. Each vessel touched by the dark energy simply vanished, erased from reality. Within moments, all 83 Vecther warships were gone. "Modified cascade successful," Wilson reported, disbelief in his voice despite helping design the adaptation. "All Vecther vessels neutralized." Chen stared at the display, watching the empty space where a mighty armada had been moments before. Status of the space-time fabric in the deployment zone. Dr. Reeves, who had insisted on joining the mission, studied her specialized instruments. "Stable, Captain." The distributed effect prevented the formation of a single large distortion, multiple smaller erasures rather than one massive one. Chen nodded slowly. Contact the Hermes and Athena. All vessels, return to Earth. She paused, then added, and prepare a long-range message to be broadcast toward Vecther space. I want to make our position absolutely clear before they consider sending a third fleet. As the Thunderbird turned homeward, Chen drafted the message herself. To the leadership of the Vecther hegemony, you have now witnessed the consequences of threatening humanity twice. We did not seek this conflict. We do not desire expansion into your territory. We wish only to exist in peace. But make no mistake, any further aggression against Earth or its colonies will be met with the same response. The choice between peaceful coexistence and mutual destruction is yours. We hope you choose wisely. 3 months later, a single Vecther vessel, unarmed and bearing diplomatic markings, appeared at the edge of the Sol system. It carried a treaty proposal and representatives authorized to negotiate terms of mutual recognition and non-aggression. The hegemony, for the first time in its 1,000-year history, had concluded that some species were better left alone. In the halls of the Earth Alliance headquarters, a new motto was quietly added to humanity's unofficial diplomatic doctrine. Judge us not by our appearance, but by what we can become when threatened. The galaxy would never look at humanity the same way again.